Hello everyone. Welcome back, I'm so glad you're here. The room feels unusually quiet at first, as if the world outside has paused just to listen, and then slowly that familiar connection begins to glow through the screen, the kind of moment where millions of hearts across different countries suddenly beat in the same rhythm, waiting for voices that feel more like home than entertainment, and as the live begins, there is an unspoken warmth that spreads instantly, like a soft wave touching every viewer at once, because somewhere between the distance and the screen, something deeply personal is about to unfold, something that feels less like a broadcast and more like a shared room filled with emotions that cannot be easily explained. The first presence that settles into the moment carries that calm, grounded energy of RM, whose thoughtful expressions already feel like he is carrying too many unsaid feelings behind his quiet smile, and even without many words, there is a sense that he is observing everything carefully, as if each comment from fans is reaching him like tiny pieces of a larger story he never stops thinking about, and when he speaks, his tone feels steady yet deeply human, like someone trying to balance leadership with vulnerability, letting the audience feel that even those who seem strong are also learning, also growing, also searching for meaning in every passing moment. Then the energy shifts gently as J-Hope appears, bringing that unmistakable brightness that feels like sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky, and suddenly the atmosphere becomes lighter, almost healing, because his laughter carries a kind of hope that doesn't feel forced or performative but naturally alive, like it exists simply to remind everyone that even in exhaustion, even in pressure, joy can still survive, and as he interacts with the live chat, his expressions move quickly between excitement and reflection, as if he is trying to send comfort through the screen itself, making fans feel seen in ways that go far beyond words. And then there is a softer shift, almost like the air becomes more delicate, when Jimin comes into focus, and everything about his presence feels emotionally charged in a subtle way, like he is carrying invisible threads of feeling that connect directly to the audience's heart, and even his smallest gestures feel meaningful, the way he listens, the way he smiles gently, the way his eyes soften when reading messages from fans, and there is something deeply intimate in the silence between his words, as if he understands emotions that are never spoken out loud, as if he is constantly translating feelings that people struggle to express even to themselves. The atmosphere deepens again when V appears, bringing with him that cinematic calmness that feels almost unreal, like a scene from a film where everything slows down just a little so emotion can breathe properly, and his voice, when he speaks, carries that unique texture of warmth mixed with mystery, making every sentence feel like it has layers beneath it, like he is not just talking but painting emotions in the air, and even when he stays quiet, there is a strong presence that fills the space, the kind of presence that doesn't demand attention but naturally receives it because it feels honest, unfiltered, and deeply connected to feeling rather than performance. As all of them share the screen in this Weverse live moment, something subtle but powerful begins to unfold, not in big dramatic gestures but in the tiny interactions between them, the way they glance at each other, the way laughter interrupts seriousness, the way silence sometimes says more than speech, and the viewers are pulled into this shared emotional space where distance disappears and everything feels strangely close, as if millions of people are sitting in the same quiet room, listening not just to idols but to friends who have grown alongside them through years of memories, struggles, victories, and endless emotional waves. The comments keep flowing, fast and endless, like a river of love and concern, and the members react in real time, sometimes smiling, sometimes surprised, sometimes just quietly absorbing the energy from fans who speak in different languages but express the same feeling. And in those moments, the barrier between artist and audience becomes thinner, almost invisible, because what remains is not fame or stage or spotlight, but a shared emotional understanding that feels deeply human, almost fragile in its sincerity. There are moments where laughter suddenly breaks the intensity, especially when playful teasing starts between them, and the mood shifts so naturally that it feels like watching close friends who have known each other through countless memories, inside jokes, and unspoken understanding, and yet even in those light moments, there is an underlying depth, a sense that each smile carries years of journey, years of growth, years of learning how to carry both pressure and love at the same time without breaking. As the live continues, there are softer pauses where the energy slows down, and in those pauses, something more emotional rises, because silence in such moments is never empty, it is filled with meaning, with reflection, with thoughts that cannot always be spoken, and the viewers feel it too, that quiet sense of connection where nothing needs to be said to understand what is being felt, and it becomes clear that this is not just entertainment but something closer to emotional presence, something that reminds people they are not alone in what they feel. There is a strange beauty in how ordinary it all looks on the surface, just people sitting and talking through a screen, but emotionally it feels much larger, like a shared memory being created in real time, something that will stay in the minds of fans long after the live ends, because it is not about perfection or performance, it is about authenticity, about the way emotions are allowed to exist freely without filters, without distance, without barriers. And as the energy slowly settles, there is that lingering feeling that nothing really ends here, because moments like this continue living inside people, in their thoughts, in their routines, in the way they remember small smiles or sudden laughter or quiet expressions that meant more than words ever could. And even after the screen goes dark, the emotional echo remains, soft but persistent, like a reminder that connection does not depend on physical presence but on shared feeling that travels far beyond time and place.